Okay. Open the our regular meeting at 1900 hours. To my watch. And are there any changes? We have one change to the agenda. Is there anything other than adding an executive session? Just session. No other changes? No. Okay, then we will adopt the agenda with the addition of the executive session. My computer will cooperate here. Good. There we go. Okay, so minutes. We have several minutes. Do we want to take them individually, or do we just want to? Anybody have any questions about any of them?
Well, in the letter D, I would suggest adding 2 words to 1 sentence. That's the special meeting.
Okay.
There, just a second. Okay.
And that would be the 3rd line, which starts the executive session would last no longer than 20 minutes to, and I think it should be discussed with legal counsel and issue that could harm the district's position. I think that makes that clear.
Okay.
Other than that, I found nothing else in the other 3.
Okay. So you're going to make a motion on all that?
I'll make a motion to approve all the meeting minutes.
I'll second it as the one with those couple words.
As amended. Okay. So we have a motion to accept all 4 with the 1 amendment. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Brings us to 452 update.
And just what there, Commissioner Flatt asked if we could get a running total. So we're at 94,000. Just go with that. It's under 51,000 left on the approved amount, and the bill target for 625 back from
Okay. Any questions about that? All right. We'll move to financial accounts payable and payroll. Any questions, issues, answers?
I have that. Well, I have some, but the chief answered them
Of course, that's
online, so.
That's the good part. Yes. Okay, so I'll make a motion. We approve accounts payable and payroll as presented.
I'll second that motion.
No approval.
We don't-
Oh, yes, we are.
Oh, that's right.
Under the payroll,
You should put a little note in there, at least for the next couple of years.
I'll color code them.
under the payroll, I had asked the chief about the commissioner's salary. If the auditor would look at this sheet, and he said, no, they look at the other sheets and not this one. So that was my concern, because if you take it against the stipend, it doesn't come up as a right number anyway. So,
Yeah. Okay, under informational items, probationary firefighter medic on shift.
Just gonna let you know that all 3 started the last week and are on shift now.
Excellent.
Awesome.
And OC update time frame.
And that was the slide I put in there, flipped in there. So we're still on schedule to get a draft report end of June, early July, a final report sometime in July. We'll have to figure out a presentation if you would like one. We might as well wait until we see what the new rules entail in July before you're worry about setting that, and then draft strategic plan in late August with the final in September, October, and again a presentation in late October.
Okay. All right. So transport waiver.
I believe there's 3. Mike went over them with Commissioner Platt and Commissioner Merritt offline.
So then we have a motion on any of these?
Do we have to take that one differently?
Whatever you,
Depends. Depends on how you get the other two.
doesn't say depends on what you do, but
Right, but I mean, we don't have to do that one separately than the other.
there's nothing special about any of them.
No. Suggestions?
I'm okay with waiving all three of them.
Is that a motion?
Go on.
I'll second.
Suggestions, so.
Okay, that was a
Discussion first
turn
and then.
it into a motion and seconded. Any discussion on that? I think they're pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I don't see any problem with that, so all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so let's find those later. The rating bureau.
So you have all the documents. I
Yep.
wanted to make a point that the city stayed at 4, was 4 before and is still 4. Just for everybody listening, the lower the number, the better. 1 is the best, 10 is no fire department at all. And our fire district went from a 5 down to a 4, so improved 1 rating. We've met with the rating bureau. There's things we can do to try to improve that. There is, if we work hard, possibility we can get a 3 in the city. And so we'd be trying to put in mechanisms that they can help us operationally and do it in ways that will count for the WSRB.
And surplus property.
I had a question about on page 84. Some of the items there.
Okay?
I know there aren't many. But I was looking, I noticed there was 1 tire change.
Yep,
That they fit no vehicle.
I would assume so.
That's correct. That's correct. The vehicle that they used to fit on, we no longer have.
Okay. I just thought if they fit somewhere, we swap them or keep them as a spare or something like that, you know.
Yeah,
We looked into that. It didn't work. The size is different.
Okay. That's the only question I had.
yeah, our staff is really good at making sure we can't use them before we surplus them.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we need a motion on that?
But I would move that we adopt resolution 534.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Part-time temp seasonal stuff.
So we've been holding off hiring part-timers for a year and a few months now because of COVID. Just like a normal attrition hiring, there's a huge amount of hiring going on in the state and the county, and so our numbers are extremely low, and so staff try to brainstorm a way that we can get them to fill shifts sooner. So the way we've been doing in the past, it could take anywhere from a year to maybe pretty extreme, but up to 2 years on worst case scenario, but usually at least a year and over. So what we'd like to do is send them to the academy, do the pre-academy, send them to the academy, do a post-academy like we are doing with our full-time firefighters, and they will be shift certified in 5 months instead of 12 to 20 months.
Okay,
Academy as in Sumers County Academy, maybe, or ISTA?
Yeah, Stoners County Academy. So we make them temporary seasonal employees, 40 hours a week, and they would be 40-hour employees for that 5 months.
Can you renew it after that 5 months, or is that?
No, the temp seasonal law says they can't work more than 6 months in that position, and it has to be seasonal. Basically, there has to be a reason that comes and goes. And so they would do that for 5 months, and then they would go to the normal part-time working 3 to 5 shifts a month.
Okay.
So how does this affect the part-timers we have now?
Nothing at all.
Nothing.
No.
These are just for new.
Correct. It's just a new way of training them. You know, we have an additional cost of the academy, which is anywhere between $6,000 and $10,000, usually lands around $7,000. We have the cost that we have to pay their employee-only medical, which is about $700 a month. So we're looking at $2,000 a month extra to do the training this way. But one, we don't pay them their wage for, let's just do an easy number, 16 months where we don't cover a shift. And we save the overtime of using a full-time person to cover all those shifts for that extra 11 months. And so I believe financially we still come out ahead, and it's a better product, a better training, and we get more consistency in training. We train all of our new firefighters the same way instead of having two different paths, then try to bring them back together when they're certified. So it makes sense for us because we're timely, but it'll be a way to evaluate, does this make sense going forward for doing it that way all the time? We're doing it because we're in a time crunch now, but I think it might be the model we think is better going forward. But we'll know that after we get through this one and see how it goes.
Okay.
So really for you, what we need is the temp seasonal for you guys to okay that plan. So they get the same hourly rate as they do when they're part-time. Again, it's just, they will be considered full-time for that period of time, and they'll get, by law, we have to give them their employee-only medical. So that's really the only change as a part-timer. And it has to be for that 6 months or under. So roughing 5 months, depending on how we set the pre and the post academy.
Okay. So I'll make a motion that we allow the new training method.
I'll second the motion.
First for one. Or is that for everybody?
Well, for now,
For now,
part-timers.
okay, just for, okay.
It's an
How
experiment.
many do you plan on putting through initially?
Up to 4. It kind of depends on how interviews go, really. We get 4, but 4 at the most. That's all we kind of have room for in our pre-post academy and the academy itself. So again, this is kind of a beta test of this idea to see if it makes sense going forward full time. And then we're gonna have to quickly decide, do we want to go with that, and how many more can we hire? Because we'll have, we need to get our part-time numbers up, or do we not want to do that? Or do we want to do it a different way, and how many can we hire? So within the next 4 months, I'll be coming back to you with, do we want to keep this idea, or do we want
Do something else.
to go back the old way, do something else? Yeah.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
And general purchases, grant purchases.
So we received a grant for COVID for around 13,000. I think it's not an even amount, but roughly 13,000. We have to use it for something that's directly related for COVID. So we've kind of been brainstorming for, 6 months now to try to find something. We wanted something that was for COVID, but was actually going to make an impact also to the community and to the department that we were really trying to take our time and the deputy chiefs and the MSO, I think, came up with 2 fantastic ideas. First is the APR's air purifying respirator. Basically, what happens with the SCBA mask, we can just click in a filter system and they become an N95. We probably wouldn't, with COVID right now, we probably go to the mask because it's better. But if you think about it, for my fire service career, I've been getting fit tested for an N95 mask for 25 years, and this was the first time that we used them on any kind of regular basis. And so what it will do for us is streamline our fit testing process, right? Up until now, we had to fit test twice, one for the SCBA mask and one for the N95. We had to waste N95s, that's the way you fit test. And so we were throwing N95s away to do this every single time. In the future, if we get these APRs, we just have to do one fit test. The fit test is for both the N95, which is required by law, and the SB, which is required by law. So we can cut down our time we're spending on fit tests. We can cut down the waste. And I think everybody will be more used to that, or more comfortable with that. And so that's the first thing we'd like to purchase. That doesn't take up the whole grant. The second thing we'd like to purchase is basically a ventilator that's for use in the back of an ambulance. Basically, the idea of this is we can replace one of the people that's just ventilating the person, and we can put one less person in the back of the ambulance that will get exposed to COVID or whatever it is, but that's the COVID related. We can reduce the amount of exposure, and that's been the number one for EMS. That's been the number one exposure control, is just limit as many, limit the amount of people that potentially could get exposed. And so we'd like to buy those two things. It's a little bit over the 13,000. Rashawn, you remember, like $400?
Yeah, that's about more.
Yeah.
So then, as I understand what you're saying, it's an SCB, instead of an N95 mask, we would be putting on, or firefighters would be putting on an SCBA mask, and then just adding a filter to it, which could be kind of scary for some people.
Well, if we were ever to get in a pandemic like this, we would switch back to the N95s, and if we're using them,
Strictly for this.
if we were using them every day like we are now, and then we would fit test for those. But this is for the future when we're fit testing and
Sure.
almost never
So
use.
It doesn't take the place of N95s, it's just the fit testing portion of it,
No,
right?
it becomes your N95 if you want to use that.
On EMS calls. But we still could keep N95s around.
We could, but you have to fit test for them. You have to fit test for the same model and the same.
Right. I think I understand what you're saying. So let me try to re-explain it. So in a normal world, which we are not in now, we would have, when the situation dictated an N95, we would put on an SCBA mask, click in the adapter.
Correct.
Normally, we wouldn't wear a mask at all.
Correct.
Current situation is not normal.
Correct. We'll continue to use the N95s that we have. We'll, for COVID, we'll continue to buy that model, but when COVID's done and our N95 expire, which they do, and we're just fit testing and having that for the 1 in a million chance that we have to use an N95, it will be the SCBA mask.
Right, got it. Interesting experiment.
And you can use them also on overhaul instead of on air, if you're not.
Again, yes, but it depends on we can't just replace the SCBA, so you have to go through the air policy of L&I, and if we meet that, yes, then they're an N95 like you could use for construction or all the other things that allow N95. So anytime N95 is, and you can put other filters in there too. So if you need the P90, whatever you need, there's a filter cartridge, and so we're just buying the filter adapter, right? And we can buy different filters for that to meet the needs of the time.
Got it. Okay,
So if you put some different adapters in there, they're all about the same size? Is that how they work? I mean, the adapter, the things that go in are,
The filters,
yeah,
Yeah,
the various filters are all the same.
correct, you would buy the filter for our model, and they have different
Sure, okay.
different certified filters. N95, P95, N98, all the different ones you can get for that filter.
Swap them in and out.
I haven't seen them, I don't know if you put them in the canisters or if the canisters go in and.
If you've seen the ones you can get at like Home Depot, they twist on, they just click in, so it looks like you're clicking in air. Pretty standard throughout the industry.
so I make a motion, we approve both the adapters and the ventilators.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion, questions?
Now, how are the ventilators again gonna be working in the ambulance? So
So,
we're getting one for each ambulance?
We're gonna get three at this time.
So normally when you're doing CPR, someone would be on the bagging, you can hook it up to a machine, the ventilator that will breathe.
so
Okay,
it's like a ventilator in the hospital.
sure.
You hook it up and they would be intubated and it would be moving the oxygen or the air in and out of the patient.
Yeah, so instead of somebody getting blisters sitting there holding their bag.
But so one for each of the ambulance?
Well, not the reserve ambulance, one for each of the first out ambulance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the reserve still has a.
Yeah, we rarely put that in service as a fourth ambulance, so when it goes in service, we're typically taking the equipment off of one of the front line and moving it over to We could put, if we have a big incident, we could put the fourth one in, but again, for the cost of that piece of equipment, we didn't.
Right, okay. All right.
And it is portable to take from one to the other.
Okay,
Do they have guarantees with them?
guaranteed like
Like
what?
a warranty?
Guaranteed.
Warranties, yeah, like a warranty,
I'm sure,
You know,
I'm
like
sure they
for
have some sort of.
a couple of years.
Not cheap, so,
Yeah, I'm sure they do. I did not look into the warranty, but,
I'm sure.
Definitely.
Oh,
information.
Yeah,
Yes. All right,
we're getting them through, are they a Stryker brand, I should say? Yeah, so they're the same brand that our defibs, our COTS, we have a lot of Stryker stuff, and we usually go right through Stryker. And they've always, for all their equipment, they've been fantastic with their.
yeah, they're like top of the line stuff. Yeah. So all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So, that brings us down to, we should do comments first. So, district staff work group comments?
Sean sent you the operations report. Do you have any?
I sent you an email late.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's, pretty standard numbers. The north gives us more than we go, and the east we go more than we go.
Yeah, it was interesting, the differences. But yeah,
So sometimes it's time of the day and the calls, they run like an engine and a medic. So sometimes we're the second one, sometimes we're the first two, but, yeah, the numbers are pretty consistent with somewhere between 5 and 15, where they come in more 5 to 15 more times than we go out. Still pretty close.
any questions about the reports? IP comments?
I do not have anything extra.
Commissioners' comments?
I was wondering, but Mike isn't here. I was going to ask, if he had gotten anything back from the auditor on the cash back we got. Remember, I had asked a few months ago about all the points we were getting, and then he got $3,000 back, and, I was wondering if the auditor had given us any kind of way we could use it or not use that funds.
I'll have to ask him. I don't know if he was, I don't think he was gonna reach out to the auditor until our next audit on how to document that, but I will try to remember to ask him when he gets back next week.
Any other commissioner comments? With that, the board will go into executive session pursuant to RCW 42.30.140 relating to bargaining issues and negotiations, and RCW 42.30.110 subsection 1 subsection F to receive and evaluate a complaint brought against a public employee. This session will not last more than 20 minutes. At 19:23 hours. I think that 1920.
2020. Okay.
We had no.
Yeah. Steve, yeah, we know. Okay.
Yep.
First time.
And then on the button.
Are we live?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so we will come out of executive session at 19:44 hours. And based on discussions and information presented in our executive session, I make a motion, we authorize the chief to hire an independent investigator.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. And that concludes our meeting, so we will close our regular meeting at 19:45 hours.
Thank you.